Hello, everybody. Wave 3 meteorologist Brian Good. Welcome to this latest edition of Storm Talk and Snow Talk. No need to panic. I know I sent that statement earlier, and some good and some bad responses, obviously, from that. But to talk a little bit about the snow chance, it's snowflakes, really, and the atmosphere is very borderline on the different layers. The only thing that's good about this time of the year is we know that the lower layer, and especially the surface, is usually pretty warm. So anything that touches the ground is likely going to melt. And then the lowest level, if it's thick enough, it could actually melt the actual frozen precip enough to where very little, if anything, is seen on our level. Just above us, though, it's a little more dramatic when it comes to higher elevation, seeing snowfall and even some sleet. But nevertheless, it's a possibility. And given the timing being during the early morning hours on Tuesday, I think that may help induce a little bit of a colder layer to the flicks to make it all the way to the ground, which would be interesting for those of you that are up early on Tuesday, because if you sleep in, you will miss it, because it's not going to happen very long at all. It's a very brief window we're talking about. How unusual is this? We see our last snow flurries, snow showers around the 3rd of April, so we've already passed that date, so yeah, that's unusual to see that. We've had snow flurries on record, though, as late as May 20th. And those of you remember 1989, we had sleet mixed in on Derby Day. So it's happened before, but it is unusual, certainly to see it happen. But it is I think the bigger story is the potential for a freeze coming our way. That would be our latest freeze. If we have one on Wednesday morning, this is the next morning after the snow chance. Wednesday morning, if we have a freeze, that will probably be our latest. We've had a freeze in the season since 2001. So that is noteworthy. And we always say don't plan anything until Derby Day or after Derby Day. And this year, I see another cold shot coming potentially after Easter, and if that's the case, not on just Derby Day, wait until Mother's Day probably to plant your annuals, because I got a bad feeling that these cold shots, the patterns like this are hard to break, and we've seen this since October. These cold snaps try to work their way into the Ohio Valley, and really I don't see anything significant changing. It's going to be a gradual process to get out of this. The month of May, I think, will be our month to really get out of this and enjoy some warm weather and stay warm. But the next couple of weeks, I would not rule out some cold snaps. So let's talk about the storm talk first out of this, and that is the thunderstorms we've had to our west. There's two lines, really, and it's a good thing, because this first line of rain is working its way into a very dry atmosphere along I-65. So it's going to shrink things down a little bit, but it's going to help stabilize the air quite a bit in our area. Even though we've got a lot of wind potential coming out of the system, it's already running itself out of that wind potential, so there could be some lightning and thunder. But at this point, I'm not concerned about severe weather. If I had to draw a risk area, that would probably be south of the parkways into Tennessee. That is where there's going to be enough of a jet streak here to potentially produce some damaging winds late tonight and during the day tomorrow. But anything north of that, I really think is going to be a stretch. But we'll keep an eye on it, because if the models are off on instability parameters, then they'll be off on how things play out on severe weather. So we'll watch it carefully, but at this point, I don't see any cause for concern. This, though, it's just crazy just to see the snow breaking out in Denver all the way to Plain States. I heard from a lot of people that were talking about Nebraska. It was in the 80s just yesterday, and now they've got just snow coming down like crazy. Now, it's not going to be that dramatic here, but it just goes to show you how things just can happen in the United States this season, and this year is no different. So let's break down, how this is going to play out for us tonight and tomorrow. First off, in the short term will be the thunderstorm chance. That wind's going to stay strong out of the south all night long tonight, so I really don't think we're going to drop a whole lot. We may not even drop below 70 in the city. Outline area, certainly we'll get into the 60s. But because of the dry air in play, you see that rain band tries to make a run at us even through 7 a.m., and it still hasn't even rained yet. Along East 65. That's a possibility. It may not even rain at that point. It may be a dry overnight for a lot of us because it's going to take a while to get everything saturated. But that luck will run out. I think we'll start to see some scattering of showers and storms mid to late morning, certainly into the afternoon. If we get any sunshine, that could enhance thunderstorm potential. But look at the wind arrows as we head into Monday evening. Out of the northwest, that is a cold wind now coming through the region. So that means that's going to set the stage for a cold pattern here developing as we overnight Monday night into Tuesday. And the next phase of your futurecast shows that. There you go. There's your pink and there's your blue. We thought we were done with that. But here we go. It's showing the cold air catching up. Now, Futurecast has been it updates itself every few hours, so it's been wavering a little bit of where the cold air is going to catch up. Sometimes it has it catching up back here as far as Jasper, and in some cases it's going to wait until it passes east of Louisville before the cold air can catch up and change anything to a frozen form. So anybody is on the table here to see this changeover. I do think, though, I like this look of it being mainly along and east of 65 has the best chance to see anything frozen because the cold air is going to catch up at the perfect moment in that time frame, about 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning on Tuesday. In fact, you'll see it really enhances the snow potential at around 5:30 in the morning. Again, no travel problems. Temperatures have been in the 80s this weekend. It's going to melt as soon as it touches. The only time we can get an accumulating snow in April, it's got to come down at more than 1.5 inches per hour. It's got to be at night in most cases, and it only would be grassy areas. Anything more than that would just have to be a tremendous snowstorm to get anything significant, and this is not that case. This is a typical cold air catching up the front kind of deal. It's just, again, a shock to the system considering we were 84 today. But we get some sunshine on Tuesday, and it's going to be a cold day. Northerly winds all day long. I don't think we're going to get much into the 40s at all, even as we did Tuesday night. But Tuesday night was clear skies. Those winds still northerly, but they'll relax Tuesday night, and that will set the stage for some problems when it comes to vegetation. You know, Tuesday morning, you see it's getting cold enough for that chance for snow in the morning hours, lower 30s, but it's going to be Wednesday morning that here in the city, I think we'll probably dive to the freezing mark, but outlying areas could easily drop into the 20s for Wednesday, and that will cause some problems. We'll have some frost and freeze alerts. Could even have a freeze watch being issued as early as tonight. With the 4 a.m. update from the Weather Service, they may issue a freeze watch for Wednesday morning already to give you a big heads up. So don't be surprised if you get alerts in the morning about a freeze watch. That's what it's for. It's going to be for Wednesday morning. But that potential is certainly there for Wednesday. And then as we into later in the week into Easter here, we're going to try to warm things up into the 60s for Easter itself. Right now it looks dry, but there is some storms potentially moving out on Friday we'll keep an eye on. So there you go. It's a short video tonight. I don't want to take a whole lot of time, but again, this is going to be a minor deal. It's just, I think the big story here is just it's just a shock to the 80s here this weekend. We've had a great weekend, though. We can't really complain too much. You will need a winter coat, though, on Tuesday, and you certainly will need a winter coat coming up Wednesday morning. And then after that, you can probably go back to a jacket or long sleeves for the rest of the week there, and maybe even short sleeves by Friday. So get ready. We're trying to give you a heads up as much as we can, but I think for those of you that plant your annuals, you're probably most at risk right now for problems here in the next few days. All right, we'll see you tonight coming up at 11 o'clock.